I still hear your voice at night. Make me feel alright. Jump right back into my life. Cause we could dance the night away. Make me love you through the haze. Ain't no need to be afraid.
Hey, have you heard about the woman who believes she was dead? Picture this. You wake up, open your eyes, get out of bed, walk to the bathroom and look into the mirror. The face staring back is yours, but something feels wrong. You touch your skin. It's cold. You can hear your breathing and your heart is beating, but none of it feels real. A thought appears. I'm dead. At first, you try to ignore it, but the feeling grows. Food doesn't matter anymore. Sleep doesn't matter. Tomorrow doesn't matter, because dead people don't have a future. Your family insists you're alive. Doctors show you a heartbeat, blood tests, brain scans. Everything says you're alive, but your brain refuses to believe it. This isn't a ghost story or a horror movie. It's one of the rarest, strangest neurological conditions ever recorded. It's called Cotard Syndrome. Intro music plays. Welcome to Brain Glitch.
Yeah, I've heard of it. It's such a chilling idea. Feeling like you've stopped existing even while your body is very much alive. How does something like that even happen?
The first formal description goes back to 1880. A French neurologist, Jules Cotard, wrote about a patient who insisted she had no brain, no nerves, no chest, no soul. She believed nothing inside her was alive and refused food because dead people don't eat. Cotard named it a negation disorder, a delusion where aspects of the self or the world are denied. Since then, clinicians have seen variations. People who think their organs have vanished, their blood has stopped, or that they're trapped between life and death.
But these people aren't faking, right? They genuinely believe it.
Exactly. It's not malingering. These are true, fixed beliefs. Often Cotard appears in the context of severe depression, sometimes with psychosis. It can also follow neurological events, strokes, brain injuries, or conditions that disrupt the networks that build our sense of self. The puzzling part is how, with intact sensory input, seeing your chest rise, feeling a pulse, someone concludes they're dead.
So what's breaking down in the brain to produce that belief? Is it a memory problem or something about perception?
A bit of both. Researchers think Cotard involves a failure in the systems that interpret bodily signals, what scientists call interoception, plus disruptions in the networks that create self-awareness. Regions often implicated include parts of the right hemisphere, frontal and temporal areas, and the insula, which helps map internal body states. When these systems don't integrate properly, your brain's model of yourself can collapse into a delusional conclusion. I am not here.
That's striking. It makes me think that being alive isn't just a physical fact. It's a story the brain tells itself about the body.
Yes, our sense of existence is constructed. We don't directly experience aliveness as a fact. We interpret signals, heartbeat, breathing, sensations, memories, and the brain stitches them into a coherent sense of self. Cotard shows what happens when that stitching fails. Even clear evidence like seeing your reflection or feeling a pulse can be overridden by a powerful internal narrative of negation.
Are there famous case studies or examples that help illustrate this?
There are several. One patient stopped eating because she was convinced she was dead and therefore didn't need food. Another believed their organs had vanished, and some expressed that they had no soul. Clinically, it's rare, but when it appears, it can be severe and dangerous. Suicidal ideation and self-neglect are real risks. That's why timely recognition and treatment matter.
What treatments actually help? Can the sense of being dead be reversed?
Good news. Many people do recover. Cotard often responds to treatments used for severe mood and psychotic conditions. Antidepressants and antipsychotics can help. Electroconvulsive therapy, or ECT, has a particularly strong track record for rapid improvement in severe cases. When the underlying depression or neurological instability is treated, the delusional belief can lift and the person's sense of reality returns.
It's comforting to know there's hope. Still, it's a powerful reminder of how fragile our sense of self can be.
Absolutely. Cotard syndrome is extreme, but it points to something universal. Our experience of being alive is an act of interpretation. The heart beating isn't enough on its own. The brain has to make sense of that signal and say, this is me, I exist. When that process goes wrong, reality itself can begin to slip. The biggest mystery in these stories isn't the body. It's the mind that stopped believing in it.
Thanks for walking me through that. It's eerie, sad, and oddly fascinating, and a good reason to approach unusual beliefs with curiosity and compassion.
Exactly. If you ever meet someone convinced they're not real, they need care, not ridicule. Medical and psychiatric help can bring them back. Thanks for listening to this episode of Brain Glitch. We'll be back soon with another story that starts in the world and ends inside the mind. Hey, have you heard about this? What makes you believe you're alive? Your heartbeat? Your breathing? Your thoughts? Sounds simple, right? But what if I told you those things might not be enough?
Wait, hold on. That sounds unsettling. What do you mean, not enough?
Every second, your brain is bombarded by thousands of signals. Your heart is beating, your lungs are breathing, your muscles move, your stomach digests. Most of the time, you never notice. Your brain quietly says, everything is normal. It stitches all those signals into one continuous sense. I am alive.
So the brain is like a kind of internal editor, making sense of all the noise. But what happens if the editor starts to misread?
Exactly. Imagine that communication suddenly becomes distorted. Your body is still sending signals, but your brain stops trusting them. It's like getting a phone call with no sound. You can see that someone called, you know there's a presence, but the message never arrives.
That's eerie. Is that real or just a metaphor?
It's real. Scientists think something similar may happen in a rare condition called Cotard Syndrome. The brain struggles to combine physical sensations, the raw signals, with the emotional feeling of being alive. When that feeling disappears, the brain hunts for an explanation.
And what explanation does it find?
A terrifying one. Because I'm dead.
Wow, that sounds impossible. But I guess when your brain is trying to explain confusing input, it can reach strange conclusions. Kind of like those memory errors people talk about, the Mandela effect or Capgras syndrome, where someone believes a loved one has been replaced by an imposter.
Exactly. The brain fills in gaps. Usually those gaps are small. I remember the movie differently. But in Cotard syndrome, the gap is your own existence. For the person experiencing it, that story feels absolutely real. It's not pretend, it's their reality.
That's heartbreaking. What does this look like in everyday life?
Some patients become so convinced they're dead that they stop eating or drinking, because in their reality, the dead person doesn't need food. Others deny their own organs exist or insist their body has rotted away, even though it hasn't. The consequences can be life-threatening.
So it's not just a weird belief, it can actually endanger someone's life.
Right. That's why it's so important to approach it with compassion, not judgment. People aren't seeking attention or faking it. They are living inside a reality the brain has created for them.
Is there any hope? Can it be treated?
Yes, there is hope. Cotard syndrome is extremely rare and often appears alongside severe depression or neurological disorders. In many cases, it improves with appropriate medical treatment directed at the underlying condition. That can include medications, therapy, and in some instances, treatments like electroconvulsive therapy when necessary. The key is recognizing it early and treating the whole person, not the label.
That's reassuring. But beyond treatment, it raises a bigger question. If our sense of reality depends so much on the brain's internal story, then how much of the world we experience is constructed rather than directly perceived?
That's the real takeaway. Our brain is constantly combining what we see, hear, and feel into a single experience we call reality. Most of the time, that process is invisible, effortless, automatic. Cotard syndrome exposes how fragile that construction can be. The same organ that lets you fall in love, solve problems, and create art can also reshape your sense of existence.
It's both beautiful and terrifying. Beautiful because of what the brain enables. Terrifying because it can redefine something as fundamental as being alive.
Exactly. So next time you're taking a deep breath, feeling your heartbeat, or just enjoying an ordinary day, remember, your brain isn't a passive observer. It's constantly building your experience. And sometimes the strangest mysteries aren't out there waiting to be discovered. They're already here, inside our own minds.
Thanks for diving into this with me. It makes you appreciate how fragile and miraculous our sense of self really is.
Thanks for listening to Brain Glitch, where every mystery begins with a story and ends inside your mind. See you in the next glitch.
Oh, and one last thing. Next time, one day an entire town starts laughing. Nobody knows why. Hours turn to days, days to months. Was it a disease or something stranger? Welcome to the Tanganyika laughing epidemic.
I still hear your voice at night, make me feel alright. Jump right back into my heart. Cause we could dance the night away, make me love you through the haze. Ain't no need to be afraid, say.